Hello, I am petroonishchuk. This is 8th video from my series of videos about SwiftUI and Firebase, where I try to create to-do app. In this video, I want to add sign up with Apple to our application. I'm going to use the sign up with Apple method with Firebase Authentication. Also, in this video, I want to update my login view. At the end of this video, we must have application with 3 buttons: sign in, sign up, and sign in with Apple. And after we sign in our application by using sign in with Apple, we can update user data, first name and last name, and also create a task in our application. And also, our button will be changed when we change our color scheme, appearance. Okay, let's start with the project. First, I want to add sign up with Apple capability to our Xcode project. Second, I want to add sign up with Apple method to the Firebase application. Third, I want to add some methods in MyAppViewModel for work with sign in with Apple. Fourth, I'm going to create sign in with Apple view. And on the end, I want to update my login view. Some code I am going to copy and paste because I will be taking this code from Firebase documentation. Link to all documentation that I will be using in this project I put below in description. Okay, let's start with the project. And now I want to explain what I changed in this application. First, I add a new capability for sign in with Apple. We add this capability to our Xcode project for using sign in with Apple in our SwiftUI application. And also, we can find this capability in our project in our developer account. Sign in with Apple. This is a capability for our SwiftUI project. And also, I add a new sign in method to Firebase application. And now, after we add a new sign in method Apple to our Firebase application, we have ability to use the sign in with Apple method from our SwiftUI application. And next, I add a 2 new methods in MyAppViewModel. I add these 2 methods for work with sign in with Apple. These 2 methods you can find in Firebase documentation. I take this method from Firebase documentation, and also you can read about these 2 methods from Firebase documentation. First method random non-string, and also we have method SHA-256. And also for using the last method SHA-256, we must import CryptoKit. Next, move to our sign in with Apple view. With this view, we display our sign in with Apple button. First, inside sign in with Apple view, don't forget import authentication services and also Firebase. Then inside SignIn with Apple view, we create couple property. First property called our MyAppViewModel from environment object. And also I create property current nonce. I using this property while we will be using our SignIn with Apple method. And also I create property color scheme. This property called value color scheme from environment. Then we'll be using this property when we'll be check what color scheme we have, dark or light. And depend of our color scheme, we will display another color in our application. Next, we create our SignIn with Apple button. First, we create our request. This information also you can find in Firebase documentation. We create a request. Then, after we try to create our request, we have our completion hazard and we check our result. We check our result. How we check our result? You can also find this information in Firebase Authentication. On the end, if our result is successful, we try to make our authentication by using SignIn credential, what we create by using our token with provider ID and also ID token string and nonce. And then, after we check our result and we successfully make our request for using SignIn with Apple and create credential, and then we try to run our Firebase authentication and try to sign in our Firebase application, but in this time we don't use email, we do using our credential, what we create previously when we using our SignIn with Apple method. And then we check if it's successful authenticated in our Firebase application. If we have an error, we display an error. If we don't have an error, we run our method is user SignIn. That means we'll be relogging our view and check if our user sign in. And then if our user sign in, we will display our to-do list view. That means we must display list of tasks for specific user, not main login view. And on the end, I assign button style by using our button style property. This property we check if we have light color scheme or dark color scheme. And also don't forget set ID for our color scheme. And also I assign frame with our button style property and also ID what we assign to our SignIn with Apple button will be check our button in real time when we assign our dark color scheme or when we assign our light color scheme. And also I create view modifier for modify our sign in and sign up button when we try to sign in with email. This is our modifier for our button. I use this modifier in our main login view. I use sign in, sign up button style. This is our button style. And also I create background view to our main login view. I use that view in our main login view. As you can see, I also change our main login view. I create this tag and inside this tag we have our with tag. But between this tag and this tag I put our background view. That means our background in our main login view will be gray. And also inside our with tag we have our two navigation links and also with our modifier. And on the end, we have our SignIn with Apple view for display our button for run our SignIn with Apple method. And on the end, we have our modifier for our vStack. And also I make some changes in MyAppViewModel. First, I commit take current user data. I commit this method because for now we don't use this method, because now we use this method for real-time update data. That means we don't use this data. We use this method for real-time update data from our Firebase Firestore. When we change data in our Firebase Firestore, our real-time data method takes this data from Firebase Firestore and put in our application. And also I commit method take task list, because also we have a method for real-time listed data in our Firebase Firestore. And for now we don't run this method take task list. And also I make changes in update user data method. Inside this method I change method from update data to set data. Because when we assign to our application by using our SignIn with Apple, we don't set our first name and last name in first time. And then when we try to update data in our application but set first name and last name, we can update this data because we not set this data yet. For this I use set data method. Because with set data method, when we don't have this data, we create our document with this data in our Firebase application. And when we have this data already, we update this data because we use merge to true. That means with set data method, we can update data in our Firebase Firestore. And when we don't have a data, what we want to update, we create a data in our Firebase application. But with update data, when we don't have a data, what we want to update, we will have an error. That means I commit this method. When we run this method setData, we set the same value, first name, last name, and also last updated. This method also have value, field value, server time span. This value called when we last time changed data in our Firebase application. And also, I want to make a couple changes in my application. First change is CustomButtonViewModifier for changes foreground color in our button. And also, I want to make changes in MyAppViewModel. For changes is method for update our user. In this method, I want to add email to our method. I want to add email when we update name, first name and last name of our user. And also, I want to check provider data when we authenticate in our application. Because when we sign in our application by using Apple, that means our provider will be apple.com. And when we sign in our application by using sign in with Apple, we don't must change email in our application. For this, I must check if our provider is apple.com and disable button for edit email in our edit user view. And then after make all the changes, I will be run this application on iPhone, and also I will be run this application on simulator for show you how look our button when we change our color scheme. And now I run the simulator and show you how our sign-in with Apple method works. And now I run an application on the iPhone, and we have a 3 buttons. Sign in when we already have an account, sign up when we want to create a new account, and also we have a button sign in with Apple. And now I tap this button. Tap continue. And when we sign in our application, we don't have any task yet because this is our new account. Let's move to our users view. In our users view, we don't have first name and last name because when we sign in our application, we don't provide first name and last name to our Firebase Authentication and Firebase Firestore. And now I try to update first name and last name. I tap it James Smith. Tap Update User. Successful updated. And now we have our first name and last name, and also we have our email. This is email we have in our Firebase Authentication and also our Firebase Firestore. Let's move to our Firebase Authentication. This is our 2 users, and now I try to reload this page. After reload this page, we have our new user with email. This is email the same what we have in our application, and also we have a provider apple.com. This is our provider. And now move to our Firebase Firestore. Our Firebase Firestore holds a new document with value email, first name, last name, and last date of date. And also, we don't have any task in our application because we don't create any task yet. And now I want to create a couple tasks in our application. And after that, we must have our to-do list. I create a 3 new tasks. Now I reload this page. And we have our to-do list and 3 new tasks. And now I can update this task in our application. Update task number 2. We have true. It's completed. Task number 1. And also we can update task number 1. And we can delete task number 1. We delete task number 1. And also in our users view, when we tap edit user, we can update our email. Because previously I showed you where I check if our provider apple.com. Because when our provider apple.com, we don't must update email in our Firebase Authentication and also Firebase Firestore. Because we can't update this email in our Apple developer account. Our button is disabled and also text field. And now I also want to run this application in the simulator and show how work our color scheme. For example, and now I run the simulator and we have a live color scheme. And now I want to change and we will see how change our button. We change our color scheme to dark and our button change to light because we update background color and foreground color in our button depend of our color scheme. Light color scheme, dark color scheme. In our sign in with Apple view, we update color in our button by using this code, this and this. This is the end of this video. In this video, I try to explain how we can add SignIn with Apple method in new SwiftUI project, and how we can use the SignIn with Apple method in Firebase Authentication. And also, I want to explain how we can change background color and foreground color in new SignIn with Apple button when you change color scheme. Next video I try to create in short time. This is the end. Thank you for watching.